it's okay fitting on to the head here, but it appears that this bracket here, and I don't know if it's a heat shield or what, was keeping the head from, I think, I'm not sure, from sealing flush. So I'm going to try and bend this sheet metal sticking out from the oil pan here. I sure hope I don't mess that up. There we go. Tuck that out of the way. If I have to, I guess I can cut it off. Again, just to show you what I'm going to do here. I'm just going to work the metal to break it loose there. And if it leaks, it leaks. There it is. It's off of there. We're going to start with the exhaust first. Try and tell you what I've already done before we actually do the full install here. But I've already put in the studs here for the exhaust. And let's see how many we've got here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 11. 11 studs. Why 11? Well, we're going to be sharing with the intake. Up here is where there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4 intake bolts. And there's 2 long and 2 short. The 2 long, I believe, are going to go on the outside. And the 2 short are going to go on the inside of the manifold. Mostly because the intake manifold is thicker. The flange is thicker on the outsides and thinner on the insides. So that's why we're using long bolts here and short bolts there. Okay, then we have our various washers. These regular flat washers will be securing the exhaust. So I guess we got to use 11 of those, and then we're going to use these nuts. There'll be 11 of those, I believe. Then after those are torqued down to the correct range, I think it's between 10 and 12 foot-pounds. Then we're going to proceed. Oh, before we proceed, I said there were going to be some shared between the intake and exhaust on some of these studs, and that's where we're going to use this washer here. It's concave on one side, it's cupped, and that's going to go towards the head. And there are actually, let me see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of those. Now we're going to install those on there loosely because that's what's going to hold the intake in place when we drop it on there. So first you grab your gasket. Oh yes, this is aftermarket header. So if you're doing a regular OEM exhaust, well, that'll be a little different. So anyway, match up your gasket. Can it go on wrong? Everything can go on wrong. So it looks like it now this way. We're ready to put on the header next. Nobody mentioned whether you can do it that way, but I'm mentioning it. And if it's wrong, well, I don't know that. But we'll see here. Okay, so let's put a washer and nut just to hold it in place for now. Now I got all new hardware from the thezstore. I bought their more expensive hardware. I think it was $60 for the hardware. And I don't know if it's stainless steel or not, but it should be for the price they charged. Okay, so it's in place. Now, moving along, you can see where the shared parts are for this install. Wherever it's not enclosed, where the stud is not enclosed, is where it's going to share with the intake. So here's one right here, here's another, there's another, right here, right here, right here. So let's count those. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, which matches how many of these special concave washers we have. We have 6 of those. And the rest are just regular flat washers. And when you're working on this one here, or these inside ones, it's kind of hard to get a wrench in there. Maybe you could, a socket set in there. But there is enough room for you to reach in there with a an open-end wrench. So we're not going to be using a torque wrench on those. We're just going to have to do those by feel. Alright, so that's on there. Now the next step is to get your regular, not your regular, these are not regular, these are the aftermarket, well these aren't aftermarket, these are just the concave. So get those started, but don't tighten these down yet. Okay? Just get them on there. Alright, our next step now is to put the intake on. And I've got some tools and bolts ready to hold it in place. But we'll see. Leave these thick cutting concave washers. And, you know, the cutting action is on the cup side, which is facing the head. So here we go with our intake. So basically, I can't see what I'm doing, so let me see if I can find a good way to line this up. I guess try to push it flat and then go downward. But don't let go. Well, I don't think we're lined up though. It went down a little bit. Not completely here. Trying to look at my gasket material. See which way I gotta go a little bit. We're in the vicinity. We're close. Maybe I've got to loosen those bolts up a little bit more. Wait, there it goes. Seems like this end is falling into place, and this end doesn't want to go down. Okay. A little bit of a wiggling motion seems to... This one is flush. This side won't go down. So what I'm going to do is, since this is a hard end to get down, I'm going to lift in this. Oh, there we go. Suddenly it just dropped in place. And, whoa. And now it's nice and loose. I may have to remove this heat shield here, but for the moment, let's see if we can get one bolt in there so it doesn't go anywhere. Okay. I trust that one now. Now, we've got the two inner ones here, and one of them is holding the fuel rail, so that's going to make it a little bit extra harder to do. Let me get another extension here. Okay, so we basically have all the bolts started. We haven't torqued anything down yet. Now, so right now, this concludes the video of installing it. I'm going to try and tighten everything down to specification, and I'm gonna, just work it evenly, starting in the middle and going outward, like you do on a head or on an oil pan. I just wanted to show you the clearance issues here for the header, and hopefully you can see the gap there between the engine oil pan area. So right there's how everything looks from below here. And it looks like everything should be accessible. It's not the best access. I don't think we have to remove the heat shield. It looks like we got enough room for this. So, oh, let me see here. What about the, where are the, oh yeah. Here's the bolts that the cut-in ones, and those are very, very accessible. Right now, the hardest one to reach, I would say, is this one, but I can reach it with my finger, so that's good. If you can reach it with your finger, you should be able to reach it with your tool. The right tool. But yeah, we're going to leave the heat pan on there. That seems to be another unnecessary step that somebody mentioned. But yeah, we're fine. I got to replace the PVC valve. I got to do those. Yeah, we're good. Let's see how it looks from afar. Because I haven't looked at it from afar yet. Yeah, we're looking good. Let me check from the rear here. Yeah, looks good.